We've all heard the news. Kaizer Chiefs and Cape Town City have an agreement in principle for the sale of Mduduzi Mdantsane. This is good news, right? Because if you think about it, Mduduzi Mdantsane is a quality player who's going to add something to Kaizer Chiefs. However, it also indicates ukuthi Kaizer Chiefs development has serious problems. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I'm your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. And today I want us to talk about the 4 problems that are showing good development in Kaizer Chiefs. And the first one is that this is the second time now in the past year that we have re-signed a player who was once a Kaizer Chiefs player. I'm talking about Ukwinika, who was signed from Stellenbosch, who was once a Kaizer Chiefs player, and then we let him go and then we ended up buying him back. Now we have Mduduzi Mdantsane, who once played for the Chiefs, and then good development, and then we let him go, and now we've gone back and we've bought a player who we could have kept and developed much better and made a better player for the team. But now the money that Chiefs is not spending on the players that we think they should be spending it on, they are now spending it on the players who are supposed to be with us or be ours. So you see, there is a problem between how do we transition our players from development to a senior team, which really leads me to the second point. Why is there a problem? Why do we fail to integrate our team, our first team, with our development team? The problem is that there are different systems. I'll make an example with a team like Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp has insisted with Liverpool from development they should be playing the same system that he plays with senior team. Obviously there might be some minor tweaks, but when it comes to formation, the way team presses and the other stuff, it's all similar, so that when a player comes from a development and they are promoted to the senior team, they don't get to struggle. You look at the development Chiefs, you watch them, they're playing 3-5-2. They come to a senior team, they're playing 4-2-3-1. Now, it's completely different system because with 3-5-2 for starters, there's a wing back, but if you come to a 4-2-3-1, there's no wing back. You are a left back or you are a winger. In the by wing back, I sebenzi. So now, you have players who come from a development where there are positions that exist, but when you come to a senior team, those positions no longer exist in those formations. And now we're not going to change the formation just to suit a player who's just come from a development. And the problem with that is that it's not only just this season, which, oh, 3-5-2 good development and a 4-2-3-1 in the academy, in the senior team. Because even in the previous seasons, you find you watch MTC, you get entertained. Wow, these boys are playing beautiful football. You come to the senior team, it's just fossil football. We're kicking the ball, makita spegane all day, every day, twice on Sundays. So the players are not going to play well in the team because they come from a development used to, we play Ebola parts, we play the ball, we pass each other, we make movements. No, you come to a senior team, Ebola, we just kick it and hope the striker gets it. And if something falls off the striker or drops from the striker, we have to find something and score a goal from that. So from that adjustment, you are moving from playing football to kicking a ball, and it's already something that a player needs to adapt to. Because even if there is a similar system in the development and in the senior team, there's still some adjusting that it takes because development and senior team are 2 different levels. But now if you add complexities, the system was never the same, then you're asking too much from a player, and as a result, the players end up seeming like they're flops. But they're not flops. They're good quality players who are just confused because they are given too much information that they then fail to process. And let's just say the Chiefs had good quality and there was good transition between senior development and the senior team. What is the other problem? If you're enjoying this video, by the way, please do like the video. It helps me to reach more people like you. I think the other problem is that even if the Chiefs had quality players, even if the Chiefs had a good system, even if the Chiefs were able to prevent losing players and then buying them back, there's still a problem, Yoguti. The way we deal with the loan system, Kaizer Chiefs, I am not happy. There are players that we loan out and then they just vanish into thin air. There are players that we loan out and you like how? The last time we checked, he was loaned out to another team. and then you never hear about the player again, ever. Or if they get loaned out, they are loaned out to a team that is playing in the NFD. And people are going to say, oh, Panpilo, Vele, that's where they are going to grow. No, they're not going to grow NFD. Because if you think about it, NFD is also a level lower than the PSL. And the PSL is very better than the DStv Premiership. But if you take the player to NFD, it's even lower than the level that the DStv Premiership is in. So each loan system here to why we end up not utilizing the players that we send out on the loan in the first place is because we don't check which team are we sending the player to, which level are we sending the player to. Because if we are saying a player is promoted to a senior team, Chiefs, then that player must be good enough to be loaned out to Pietermaritzburg United. Because the moment Pietermaritzburg United refuse to take that player on a loan or are not willing to even say, oh, can we get this player on a loan because we see that you are not utilizing him, then that says, okay, maybe that player is not good enough quality in the first place. So if we are not producing quality players that will say, we are not using, but we can make a deal with Pietermaritzburg United, we want Abokim Vuiti Lapa, so we'll give you, let's just say, Usifama this season, and then we'll add some money on top of Usifama, and then he's on a loan with you guys, and then Tina we buy Ukim Vuiti, but you also get a benefit Yoguti. You are not just losing a player, but you are losing a player, getting money, and a player on top of that. And that thing, I think, will also help Chiefs with the relationships with other teams. We take another player, we send him to Galants. I'm just making an example. And then again, we have another relationship with Galants. So that when we want a player finally with Galants can say, yeah, we do help each other with the senior Chiefs. So it's easy for us to sell players to them. Because right now, we're always complaining about Chiefs does not have good relationships with other PSL teams. But we can utilize this player making machine, which is our development, to forge those, to make those relationships between us and the other teams that are in the PSL. But no, we just send the players to our team who are in the NFD. And then what benefit are we going to get to NFD? Because you're going to find Wuti, even when we send those players to NFD, we send them to players who are not, to teams who are not even contending to come to PSL. It's just teams that are mid-table teams. I know with the Kaizer this season it's an exception, but sometimes you find Uguti players are sent to teams that are not even trying to win and come to PSL. They are just mid-level teams. So then mid-table teams. So that means the level of the team is not high enough. Not to mention Uguti, the second other thing is that you can even loan the players to PSL teams, but if you're going to loan them to a team that's not playing the similar type of football as the Chiefs, or at least reflecting somewhat some signs of Uguti, if this player goes to play for, let's just make an example, Chippa United. Chippa United, let's say Chippa is playing football that is kind of similar to Kaizer Chiefs, then we can say, oh, we can send our players to Chippa United because we know Uguti, they will be sharpening themselves in a system that's similar to ours, so that when we do get him back, he's good enough. And if you're going to loan a player out to a team that is not playing the football that is similar to ours, then by the time they come back, it's going to be totally foreign to us. The system is going to be totally foreign to him because he's now used to playing a defensive system with Super Sport. And then when you're bringing him with Kaizer Chiefs, he doesn't know what to do because it's a system that is just not used to. You get me? So Elon's system here too is just a struggle. We send players to lower division teams who end up not helping the team, who end up not helping the skill of the player, and then we just end up losing the players. And the other thing, number 4, is the fact that the purpose of our development players is not the same as other teams. I will make an example because I don't want to make example in South Africa because Bazote, hey, you are working for Sundowns. But look at Messi when he was promoted to Barcelona from Milan Messi. He wasn't expected to start scoring goals. He was just expected to grow, get used to playing in the senior level. But he was scoring because he was good enough. There was no pressure on him, no expectations whatsoever. You take Umtu. Umtu right now, the expectation is for him to rescue Chiefs. You take Utuba. Utuba is expected to solve problems for Chiefs. So now you compare the two. if you have umuntu who's going to be the best player at Kaizer Chiefs, yet he's the one who's supposed to be like getting integrated into the system, he's now the one person that we look at and say, oh, Mtu, please do something. Because our senior players are not carrying the weight. So now the purpose of the player is no longer to Guti, we're still growing him and we're seeing how we can better utilize him. No, manje, it's the deep end of the pool. Guti, swim, sink or swim. And there are some players who will swim, but a lot of players sink because of that. Because they come to the team and they're expected to solve problems. You cannot be bringing in a 19-year-old and wanting him to solve problems. He should be given time to grow. Uduba right now, he comes in for 20 minutes in games and then he misses 2 chances because he came in, he knows he has to score. And then people are already wanting to crucify him because we're already expecting him to be performing at the highest level. But if senior players were scoring goals, we wouldn't be putting pressure on Dub. We wouldn't be expecting him to perform miracles week in, week out. Abongezana, they just kind of came into the senior team. Yes, banama mistakes up. But since they were never allowed to grow in the senior team, Bafigo, Mato, Hono, Katoso, Nabo were already making mistakes. Now, we're already expecting them to do miracles. And that's the case with all the other players. Umshin, the other season, came in, was our best player. We're expecting him to do miracles, and then the next season he just fell off. I'm sure there are things that I didn't mention. If I didn't mention them, let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.